Morning, everybody. 10 a.m. We'll start the agenda for the Bandshell committee meeting. Call the order. And we've got one regret this morning. Ray Morrison won't be able to be attending, so put down, please. Everybody has looked at the agenda, and so I need a motion to adopt the agenda, please. Thank you. Seconder. Moved by James, second by Mr. Smith. Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor? Carry. Thank you. Any disclosure of interest this morning? None. Yes, David.
When you say disclosure, is this under new business or?
No, not yet. We'll do that down the agenda.
Sorry.
Yeah. The adoption of the minutes from June the 3rd. Has everybody read the minutes and agrees with them? So we'll make a move for that, please.
Move the second.
Moved by Councilor Smith, second by Jim.
Second.
Second. Any discussion on the motion? If none, carry. Thank you. Number 5, items for discussion. As we all received the Bandshell design that came through the email. I'm sure everybody had a look at the designs, and now we need to discuss them and send them to council from here. So, any discussion on the designs?
Mover in a second.
Or
To receive in a second. Mover to receive the design.
or to move?
Then we can get into discussion.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so we need a motion to
Almost a move.
Jim, thank you. Seconded, Councilor Smith. Any discussion? All in favor?
Oh, this is how you get a discussion.
This is probably getting into discussion now. All right, there you go.
We'll get it right.
We get it right. Okay, well, let's start the discussion.
So everybody's had a chance to look at the designs. Everything except for, I would say, option B is pretty available for material wise. I know if we decided with option B, it might be tough to get those arches. It'd be an engineered product, but all the other designs can be built with pretty conventional material, which is fairly readily available, I would just imagine. The other discussion would be that option C and A doesn't quite have a full coverage of the concrete pad. You're only looking at about half the structure over the whole concrete area for coverage. If it's going to be only used for bandshell or band use, that front area might be nice to have a stage area, but it kind of limits the coverage for other uses.
Mhm. Sorry, that was option A
Option A and C.
and C.
A
right?
covers quite a bit of it,
Yes.
quite a bit more, but option C only covers about half of the pad area.
Yep.
Yeah. Some of them are a little more complicated to build as a construction opinion, but they're all pretty straightforward for the most part, except for option C, I would say, or I'm sorry, option B. I've spoken to the electrician. And we've discussed options for having a lockable panel within the structure itself. But we would have to designate a wall or a wall section for that electrical panel to be under lock and key. And then they could have the outlets and everything accessible to the structure itself.
Mhm.
So we would have to incorporate some sort of backdrop at some point to the structures.
Okay. Yes, Dave?
What is the material that you will be using for any of these?
We have in discussions with the local lumber yards, we have the opportunity to get a lot of the material donated. or at least a good portion of it.
Yeah.
But it would be conventionally be lumber, pressure treated lumber and steel and aluminum for the cladding.
And the coverage for the roof,
It would be steel.
it'll be steel,
Ideally, it would be steel.
okay,
With the attic space. We don't want anything too enclosed, so it's either. Aluminum soffit material in the attic space, or we leave it wide open. Like option A, where it has the open rafters and beams. We can make sure that there's nothing living. And pests and rodents aren't getting into that attic space. But that would be all pressure treated material.
so is the ceiling, is it enclosed, or will you see the rack?
It depends on which option we decide to go
I
with.
see,
Yeah. Say option A, we could do an enclosed ceiling, or we could leave it open. It really leads up to committee's.
Yeah.
Discussion. If we decide to leave it open, it would be more of a finish type material for the structure. And we would have to make sure that that finish work is a lot cleaner and nicer because it will be left open,
Right.
as opposed to. Conventional lumber where we can cover it up. It doesn't need to be as pretty, and we could use. More of a truss system on some of them.
this option B. Because of the design of the roof and that. I would presume that it might take a little longer to build that. Than, and also the structure of the roof would be a lot different also, I would
Yes.
think, would it
Yes,
not?
sir, absolutely. That would be a lot of obstacles to go around and
Yeah,
to build option. Whether they're manufactured materials or trusses. To get that arch into place, that's not something that can be built on site, more than likely, and it'd be quite a bit more costly for sure.
it would almost have to be prefabbed, I would think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Councillor Smith?
Thank you, Chair. So hearing the comments, I'll go from option to option. So as we heard from option A, it's that design is only covering half of the floor space. And to me, it looks more just as a shelter you see out in the field somewhere.
Yep.
Option B, sure, it looks nice, looks beautiful. But I don't vision that as a asset that looks like it can be used as a multi-purpose facility. And then we also heard about the engineering costs and the rafters and everything else. Option C is similar to A, where it's not covering a lot of the floor space. So then I'm at option D and option E. And option E is the one that we were looking at from the beginning. So I'll talk about option D. Option D, I think there's some different aspects to it. I think there's a little bit more work to it. As you get more peaks and valleys into a design, it's going to cost more materials.
Yes.
So then I go to option E, which has been the one we've been looking at. And I still like option E. I think it's a more multi-purpose asset to be used. We did talk about perhaps the backside and two angle panels covered in where we could list our donors so that it's all protected. We did talk about that. I don't think we need the and our building inspector will correct me on the wording, cupola. I don't think we really need that cupola on top. Sure, it looks nice, but is it worth the value? Because you really get nothing out of it. You know, and if I was gonna suggest we put anything on top, it would be probably a flagpole, if not a lightning rod. Because we're gonna have electricity in there. And I think, we should have, probably a lightning rod, onto that structure. Just in that case. So as I said, option E is still being the one I've been, my favorite of them all. And I think it's more economic as far as, build-in design. But I'll leave it for that now for the rest of the committee to speak. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Smith. Anybody?
I agree with Rob, it's going back to what we originally, the other ones, they may be nice, especially the first three. But I don't think for the use we wanted, it wouldn't be as useful. And E, I like a little better, it's got one set of steps, so you're not taking away where the other one's got, E's got three. And I don't think we need the three. It's not as if we have to exit it quickly, there's still two exits. Backside down the ramp or,
Because we've got a ramp at the back.
yeah,
Yes,
so I think that's a nice one to me.
David?
Yes, I've had lots of time to look over these and first of all, I want to thank the person who did the drawing, whoever that was. We appreciate it very, very much. We do for that one. It's very, very good. It certainly helped us to make a decision on what we want this to look like and to be there for a long time. I would have to go with the option E for myself. Anyways, the others are, I don't think they are what we want to do or what we actually started out to do, especially only covering half or a portion of the stage and the design of the roofs. As far as the cupola on the top, I could take it or leave it, but I really do think it needs to be something. And I'm wondering if I didn't quite hear what Rob had suggested, but I'm wondering if we had something like get like a weather vane or something with a rooster or something that went up there instead. That would be very easy to install. Isn't any to cut down on the maintenance of that part quite a bit, I would think, and it would be less maintenance down the road of having to look at the top of that. So I would like, and I like the front of the stairs, those stairs in front. And that's to me, it only looks like there's just one step up and you're there. And which would then give us an idea that we could then go ahead and think about doing something maybe in cobblestones or something like that in the front of it, just a pad or something, you know. So I would have to go along with the
Okay, thanks, Dave. Sylvia?
Yeah. So I like E too. I don't always agree with him, but I do understand. The thing at the ramp at the back though, Jason, would you put a railing along the side of it?
Technically, a railing isn't required for the entire structure.
Yeah, because of the.
Because of the height, it
Yeah.
would be really up to this committee and council's decision for the railing. If we wanted to leave it open, more open for viewing area, instead of having the railing around the other side of the structure, that's really a discussion we can have today as well. Of how much railing do we want to add to it?
Okay.
My personal opinion is a railing on a ramp would be a good idea. But it's not required.
What about if it was even on one side? You get something to hang on to. Yeah, just on the outside is what I mean, yeah,
You know, the outside so they don't go.
right.
Yeah,
Because, you know, older people walking up, they like to hang on to a
Yep.
railing
Yeah.
when they're
Yep.
going in.
absolutely.
Agreed.
And if a railing's, if we decide not to have a railing, at least a curbing on that ramp. So if people are using it for accessibility, then they're not rolling off of it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
Yeah.
And the fact about the steps, in front of the steps, we had talked about putting the stones in with the names of the donations on it. And that could easily be the walk-up to the 2 steps.
That's the bricks you're talking about, so you're right in the
Yeah,
front there,
yeah.
yes, because we had discussed that, right, and I think we got a price on those too, didn't we, or what they were going to.
Like an estimate.
An estimate, right, yes, yeah. David, you got a follow-up?
What is the actual size of the floor space inside?
It's 20 feet to the square,
Sorry,
it's 20 feet across to the square area of that octagon.
that's 20 feet square then, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. And the railings will be made out of that same materials that that say the floor is made out of, or
a composite or vinyl material would be a good idea for the railing.
sorry,
A vinyl or composite material would be a good idea for the railing,
yeah,
if we decided to put the railing in.
yeah,
So there'll be no upkeep to it, Dave, but the
yeah,
Yeah.
opposite,
Yes.
yes, right.
yes,
Yeah,
okay.
Sorry, Councilor Smith.
No, here, you're okay, Dave? Are you finished?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
So in regards to the square, the
The
footage,
area,
okay, the floor space. So we discussed 24 feet from our original meeting. And this design is down to 20. And I don't want to say it, 4 feet is 4 feet. It's an extra space, and I think you know, that extra 4 feet, you'll be surprised what it's going to do, especially an octagon space.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna suggest that we go back to our original, which was 24 feet. Make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
20
Yes.
feet is I hate to say it, you're starting to narrow in.
Sylvia, do you have anything else to?
No.
No. Okay, so any further discussion on it, like, Jennifer?
Just in the ceiling, I think, I know we're talking about wood or we're talking about aluminum. I think we need to think about sound. How the sound is going to, reverb out off the aluminum might not be as,
Don't stop.
yeah. Like it might, I'm thinking of the neighbors around, maybe it's better if it's wood and it maybe will stay within that way instead of going, I don't know.
Good point. I don't know.
being an enclosed attic space, we need to leave it vented. Some sort of venting through it, whether it's in that attics, in that ceiling space or the soffit around it. So a vented soffit would be ideal to keep that space dry and circulated. We could look at other options to add venting if we decided to use wood. Cause that will close the airspace and that we would stop to ventilate it.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't disagree that the echoing
Mhm.
that would take place with a aluminum ceiling. But with wood / plywood, we're gonna get back into a maintenance issue, in my opinion. So may I suggest that we leave that to our building inspector and or hardware companies to say what are the materials that's available that could be used. And should we, for example, should we just go flat ceiling or should we just stay on the angle? Staying on the angle, it also gives you more air. So just food for thought.
Yeah.
You close that down, you're starting
Yeah.
to feel, you know,
That's true. Good point.
it's just come from the building side of things.
So Jason, we'll leave that with you then.
Yeah,
Look
I
into
will,
that, please.
I'll talk to Andrew and I'll
See
talk
what-
to the suppliers and see what we can get for materials.
Yeah.
Just one thing, I'm wondering if you could look into, but now that you're talking about that ceiling. Is that, I don't know. Yeah, whether following the contour of the trusses that are gonna be in there to cover the ceiling up or to make a flat ceiling right straight across. One of the things I'm wondering is that if we should contact somebody who is familiar with sound as to why it travels will hinder the sound if it was a flat roof, or would it be better that we follow the contour of the ceiling to either improve it or have no bearing on the sound of what you were trying to produce that comes out, because that's very important when we're talking about this is sound. Because one of the things we want is that we be sure of, and is what we're building is it's not gonna have an effect on, say, for instance, a band or a person standing up and singing because of the flat roof or ceiling, or whether the roof was contoured. I think of churches, for instance, you get the best sound in churches when they choir sings, any of that I've ever been in, especially Roman Catholic churches, is that you're usually in that area where the churches are beat up and the sound goes out. And a good example of that would be St. Francis Xavier Church. I've been in that church a number of times at Christmas time for the Christmas program, and the sound that comes out of there is just something. And a lot has to do with the way that roof is, and the way that the deck where they're saying, I understand that they're up on a balcony and everything, but you still have that peak roof that goes up, that's open. I think that's something you should consider at the time when you're gonna do this, so that we get the best. And we can offer the best to anybody or any magician or person that wants to speak, that they're gonna have a good place to do it in. Okay.
Jim?
Also, with Dave and Rob, having it go up, it might be less expensive. Because they just follow the contour on the inside, whether it be pressure treated wood or they clad it. It could be, and if we put in a ceiling, it could have it could help or could have negative. Plus, if it's not sealed well, we'll have rodents out there causing trouble in the future. And I know what those little buggers are like.
I just think it's just an area that I think we should just look into, just get some opinion on. And go with that opinion. I'm not trying to hold anything up, but I think it's something to look at the time.
Yeah. You're good with that, Jason? You'll be able to,
There are all for dead mounting materials as well that we can look at. Whether if we do decide to put it right up to the roof line, across the ceiling, we could use say a composite material or something that.
Yeah.
Dens the sound a little more than the.
Right.
You can look at those also.
What is the lighting inside, Jason?
Yes, we have spoke about lights on the inside and outlets, receptacles into it if we want to add accessory lighting to it. It's really up to, the easiest option would be a hot light LED kind of fixture in that whatever ceiling we decide to use, but how many
With
is.
dimmers on them. That too.
Yes. We have to, everything that we put in has to be under lock and key and inaccessible. So if we can get it in that lockable cabinet of some sort of a dimmer, or we control it at the canteen. That's something we'll have to look at on the electrical side.
right.
So may I suggest,
Yes.
Chair, to our Jason, that between you, Andrew, and the electrical supplier, that also went to Lynn School, we could probably get someone to lay out a design for lighting in there.
Absolutely.
For example, Mark Wiley. That go? Okay.
Doubtful,
Hey,
doubtful.
Delco. One or two.
Yeah. He knows his stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, then, is there any further discussion? I totally agree also with the one that we initially looked at and thought that it was that we would go with, and I fully agree with everything that's been said around the room. And I do like the option of putting something on the roof, like as Dave says, you know, yeah, yes, I think it's a great idea, and I think it would look awesome as well. So is now we can send this to council, is that what
So we as a committee
Yes.
recommend the council that we're approving Bandshell option E.
Yes.
And that staff's been directed to investigate electrical. And some other materials, working with the designer.
Okay, thank you.
And increases.
Yes, increase the size of things.
In 20 to 24.
So through you to Rob and Jason, is there anything else you want to add into that?
I do, but it's not designed for this, just kind of for your information. I did speak to the electrical contractor about options for getting power to this site.
Mhm.
And we discussed if we went across by where the curbing is, or the speed bump is. At the asphalt driveway, speaking with the concrete contractor yesterday. We were talking maybe the sidewalk, a full width sidewalk to replace that speed bump.
Yeah.
And tying it back into a sidewalk for the women's washroom, and. I talked to an excavation contractor that there is electrical service going through there, and because of the shallow depth of that electric line, it has to be in concrete. And I was able to, with discussing with the concrete contractor. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be all donated.
Yeah.
So the new sidewalks and that concrete
Wow.
cap.
Awesome,
So it was a big,
that's wonderful.
wonderful discussion yesterday with
Oh.
him. And he's like, yeah, I think we can pretty much cover it.
Yeah.
For the sidewalk all the way around to the men's washroom. To that sidewalk to the Bandshell area.
That's wonderful.
So
Dave, did you hear that?
Oh, I do.
No.
Sorry.
Jason was talking to a contractor yesterday, and they'll probably donate the sidewalk all the way around to the Bandshell area and so forth, and it'll be all done on their expense.
Very good. Very good. Who was the person that will donate?
Lafarge is, I'm sorry, Tackleberries is donated stone. It
Sorry?
sounds like Tackleberries is gonna donate the stone.
Yeah.
That we need, and Joe Thompson from St. Lawrence Farming is said that he could cover the cost of the concrete.
Very good.
Wonderful.
Right, I am still getting prices for the excavation to have the trench dug and the sidewalk area excavated as far as this area as well. So I'm still waiting for those quotes, but we'll see what we can do about getting that.
Maybe that's donated too.
Possibly.
Is that like a for sure that it should go in the minutes or not? It's just a made, the donation.
I was pretty confident that. Just, you know, we could follow up with this.
Jason, is this gonna be a big deal to add the 4 feet on?
I wouldn't imagine so. The beam span for the roof may increase in structural size to get, because if you're 20 feet, this railing section might only be 6 feet, but if we span it to 8 feet for a 24-foot side, we may have to increase the number that's spanning that roof line, which isn't a big issue.
And we've got an electrical contractor on board as well, you said that,
I'm getting a quote from him.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
So can I just confirm the motions that you want for this? So that committee directs that That committee directs council, recommends council approve option E.
Yes.
And that staff investigate electrical work and other design elements discussed by the committee.
Correct. Yes.
Sound,
Thank you.
an
Yeah.
increase to 24.
Those are just the design elements.
Yeah.
That's the recommendation going forward.
Okay.
And- But you want council to approve option B.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a good discussion.
Okay.
So thank you.
There's another part to that, sorry.
You gotta vote on.
Yeah, so we got to vote on it. Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
Just one more part, do you want it to go to council to direct staff to look into the bricks? Like, is that, where are we at with,
With the bricks.
yeah,
Well, I don't think we need to direct council direct staff. Why don't you just come back with a report and saying, here's a company, here's the pricing, blah, blah, blah,
Okay.
blah, and go from there.
so report, okay.
Report back to this committee.
So then we need a motion to,
Already moved.
already moved, right?
And then we
Do we have a
second.
seconder?
We need a seconder for that motion.
Jim?
Yeah, that one.
Now we'll call for, any discussion on the motion? No discussion, all in favor? Carry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your work, Jason.
Yes, very much so. Do we have other business? David?
A couple things, we were just talking a few minutes about, about the bricks. And I'm not quite sure what was decided on, because I'm not hearing that well. I'd like to see us, do a donation where we sell bricks and donate it, that people can donate to. And there's several reasons behind that, is that one, it's quite reasonable for a person to make that donation where he doesn't have to decide how much should I give, or he sees Tom Jones, his neighbor down the street, looks on the web and he's given that, now should I give that? No, and I think if you had something that was, this is what it costs, and I just quote a figure, say $30 a brick or whatever, you get your name on it. We put it in the ground at the where the state's gonna be, and you get a tax receipt for that donation. And that also will help sell that brick, it will. I've already had people inquiring if we were going to be doing that. And I have not been able to give any of them a positive answer towards it. I've also have, so saying that, I think we should take that on. I don't know what you gotta do in order to, if you've gotta get council's approval, or you have to, we look for some guidance on that. End of it. Or can we just go ahead and do it? I don't know.
Dave, if I can, there's gonna be a report coming back to this committee on what the cost is for the bricks.
They're looking
They're
into it already.
looking into it now,
Okay,
okay?
and when will we have that back?
For the next
The
meeting,
next meeting,
When is that?
24th of June.
24th of June.
End of the
Okay.
month.
All right. Okay, that's fine. That's good. Yeah. That's super if you do it, if you do look into that, I really do. The only other new thing that I have is that I've already approached a company for a donation, or if they would donate. And it's only because I know the persons that work there. And they will do a barbecue if you do the manpower. In other words, you've got to put the manpower in to run the barbecue and the car wash. And I told them at the time, I didn't know whether they want to get into that type of a fundraiser or not. I will just pass it along and see what the committee suggested. The other thing is that he said that he would also do a donation. If we were going to do bricks or something like that, he would go ahead, we'll do that anyways. But he offered this other thing, if you want to do this fundraiser, a barbecue. I personally cannot get involved in it. Only because of health reasons and I just don't. I just don't want to do that type of thing right now. So, I'd like an answer whether you yes or no, you want to do it or not. If you don't, then I'm gonna phone them down to let them know that, you know, what you decided.
Yes, Councilor Smith.
So on the question of the car wash slash barbecue. Does he have an opening? A date that he's given?
At the time when he gave it to me, he did.
Right. So that's it's not off the table. Okay, because we discussed that in the last meeting as well.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay,
As far as the bricks go, once we get a cost of what the brick's going to cost. We will include that into our donor pledge letter, okay? Where people can
yeah,
check off, I'm donating a brick.
Yeah.
Or I'm donating in kind, or I'm donating in cash.
okay,
So then everything's on one page.
Yeah.
Being circulated to everyone,
yeah,
businesses, corporations, whatever. So then people realize,
okay. But that doesn't answer the question as far as the barbecue.
well, the answer is yes, we're still interested. We need to know a date. We need to know their date.
An older date?
No, we need to know their date, the date that they
Oh,
have.
I see. Okay, well, I can get back to him
Okay.
and I can have that answer for you,
Well, it's not farmers though.
the next time we're around.
No,
Yeah,
now,
find enough people.
You see, that's,
yes. And this company that you've been talking to, Dave, they've also got some volunteers that they go with it, they got a trailer, right? And they can go anywhere with this trailer, and they got a few volunteers to look after it as well. And I know that, they
Do you?
do have that, yes,
You
yeah.
got a pen,
Yeah.
pen?
so just to follow up on the barbecue car wash. The last meeting, we discussed the fire hall
Yeah.
being right in Lynn. Because the fire hall in Lynn opens up once in a while and allows people to use it as a car wash and a barbecue. Okay, so that was already discussed, and we're just waiting until we get our whole fundraising package together, find out what we're going to do, so. The option is always still on the table.
Okay, I'll get back to you on that.
Anything else, Dave? Sure. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Councilor Swift, go ahead.
Yes, chair through you to our CEO. When's our press release going in the recorder of times with our photo of the check presentation?
I'm not sure. I wasn't aware that was a
Okay.
requirement.
Okay. I'd be very blunt.
Yeah.
Social media is not the only thing.
No,
Okay, we have a local newspaper. This is a local big project in this municipality. And we need all the PR we can get in order to get the word out. And it needs to get out there.
yeah, and the
We
follow, sorry,
Go ahead.
no, and to follow up on that, have we sent emails out to other municipalities that from your contact? Has that gone out yet, or? You don't know?
So as
Are
far
we
as,
waiting?
so as far as the press release is all done. We
Yeah.
all saw a copy of the press
Yeah.
release. Everyone saw a photo of the check presentation.
Yeah.
And until we have our pledge form
Yes.
ready to go.
Yeah.
Then my recommendation from the last meeting was that gets sent out.
Yeah.
From staff to. You know, our businesses in Elizabethtown-Kitley, the chamber and everybody else, so that the word is out there. But it has to, very honestly, we gotta start hitting the press. Press is not just social media.
Yeah.
I also, on that vein, I also contacted, Jack Richardson in CTV Ottawa.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I contacted Jack Richardson
Yes,
from CTV Ottawa,
very good.
and I have not heard anything back from him yet. But he's got the information about the whole press release. So hopefully we hear something. If not, I will follow up again, but this has got to get going, not just socially.
Would you let me know if you do make contact with them?
Have you spoken to Bruce Wiley's show at all?
I have not talked to, well, Bruce retired, from my understanding. Maybe he's still on the air. I don't know.
I thought I heard him on the air the other day.
Okay, he's still on the air. Well, I don't have a new email address then, since they've changed. I guess this is why they changed names and companies. Maybe that's why it came back to me. So I shouldn't speak out of turn.
that's
Sorry about that, Bruce. But anyways, I have not. I know I'll see him in a couple of days at 2 events, but I have not reached out to the radio.
Danny Mellon has taken over as the manager for both stations, and he's a hometown boy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe he's approachable, because I noticed now they've got news and everything on it, which was lacking for a few years. They're more in tune to what's going on, so maybe they will. And I know he's there, and actually Jamie played hockey with him.
So we've got things in the works then, so yeah, it's good. Anything other? New business?
Just to give you an update on donations, so this, the township has sent out a press release, but we've also put a donation page on the website.
Lovely.
That was up and active last Wednesday. So in addition to Dave's contribution, we've had 12 other people who've put in donations through the website, and that was an additional $1,035.
1,035, so we gotta keep moving for that, right? Yeah.
We gotta get moving.
Good. Share it with all your friends.
Right.
Share. Yeah.
I did a little total yesterday, I think it was. There's well over $1,000 that's already been donated through your webpage.
Yeah.
And it's only been on there a few days, couple of days.
Yep.
And we really haven't done any kind of advertising on it yet. I think you're well ahead of the game.
We'll keep at it, keep pushing. Okay, anything else? Okay, no public question period. So adjournment,
Next meeting.
next meeting is June 24, right?
24th.
At 10 AM.
But
Do you have a mover?
Do we have a mover for the adjournment?
there.
Jim, thank you.
You're sitting in your own seat, so you shouldn't be doing that. Every night.
Oh, really?
Well, he adjourns meetings.
Oh,
Earl adjourns the meetings every night.
is that right?
You got any candies in here?
Oh, yeah,